I'm gonna do uh, Sleeping Beauty. Long ago, a beautiful girl was born to a king and a queen. Her name was Aurora. To celebrate his daughter's long-awaited birth, King Stephen declared a holiday for the entire kingdom. People came from near and far to bring gifts to the child. The neighboring King Hubert and his young son Philip came to see the princess. The two kings were great friends and wished to join their kingdoms in peace and prosperity. They decided that Princess Aurora and Prince Philip would marry when they grew up. At the king's invitation, three good fairies named Flora, Fauna, and Merryweather came to the celebration. Each had a magical gift for the princess. There they are. Flora, the fairy dressed in red, waved her wand over the baby's cradle. "My gift shall be the gift of beauty," she said. "My gift shall be the gift of song," said Fauna, the fairy in green. But before Merryweather could speak, an evil fairy named Maleficent appeared. She was angry because the king had not invited her to the celebration. So instead of a gift, Maleficent brought a curse. She announced that on Aurora's 16th birthday, the girl would prick her finger on a spinning wheel and die. The king's guard tried to capture Maleficent, but she vanished into a cloud of smoke and fire. There she is. Ooh, evil. Fortunately, Merryweather, the fairy in blue, had not yet offered her gift. She could not reverse the evil curse, but she cast a spell that would make Aurora fall asleep when she pricked her finger. That way, the princess wouldn't die. And from this slumber you shall awake when true love's kiss the spell shall break, Merryweather announced. To keep Aurora safe, the three good fairies said that they would disguise themselves as peasants, raise the princess in a cottage, and name her Briar Rose. The fairies told her parents she'd bring Aurora home on her 16th birthday. King Stephen and the queen sadly agreed. Then Maleficent discovered Aurora was missing. She ordered her evil soldiers to search the entire kingdom. It occurs to me that Daddy has never seen the story of Sleeping Beauty. As the years passed, Briar Rose never once suspected that she was a princess. She thought the fairies were her aunts, and they all lived happily in their cottage. On the morning of Briar Rose's 16th birthday, the fairies decided to throw her a surprise party. They were discussing the cake and gift when Briar Rose walked in. "What are you three dears up to?" the girl teased. We want you to go pick some berries," Merryweather blurted out. "Lots of berries," Fauna added. "But I picked berries yesterday," Briar Rose said sweetly. The fairy smiled and sent the girl on her way so they could start to get everything ready. I think Boomer wanted to say hi. The fairies had stopped using magic long ago for fear that Maleficent might discover Aurora's hiding place. But because the curse was about to end, they weren't very good at baking and sewing. Merryweather suggested they use their magic wands, but Flora and Fauna refused. "I'm going to bake the cake," Fauna said. "I'm going to make it 15 layers with pink and blue forget-me-nots. And I'm making the dress," Flora declared. Fauna's cake turned out so lopsided that she had to prop it up with a broom. And then all the icing and candles ran down the broom handle. When Merryweather tried on the dress that Flora had sewn, it practically fell apart. "Perhaps I should add a few more ruffles," Flora asked. Finally, the fairies pulled out their magic wands and made everything perfect. Hi, Boomer.
Hi, Tessa. Hi, Kenny.
The dress and cake were fit for a princess, but the sparks from the fairy's wand had come out of the chimney just as Maleficent's pet raven was flying by. The bird saw flashes of magic and realized that the princess had been hiding at the cottage. Meanwhile, Briar Rose wandered through the woods and began to sing. A handsome young man who had been riding through the woods heard her lovely voice and joined her. Briar Rose did not realize that he was Prince Philip, but they had walked and sang together. She knew she loved him with all her heart. Hours later, Briar Rose returned to the cottage. She was delighted by her birthday presents, but even more excited about the handsome man she'd met that day. "Just wait till you meet him," she told the fairies. Sadly, the fairies told her who she really was, and she was already betrothed to Prince Philip. Because of that, she could never see the handsome stranger again. "Tonight we're taking you back to your father, King Stephen," Flora told the stunned princess. Once the fairies thought it was safe, they returned Aurora to the castle. Left alone to prepare to see her parents, the princess wept. But Maleficent was waiting for her. Immediately she placed Aurora in a trance and lured her to a lonely tower. There the princess pricked her finger on a spinning wheel and fell into a deep sleep. To save Aurora's parents from terrible heartache, the good fairies put everyone in the castle to sleep. Meanwhile, Maleficent had figured out that Prince Philip was the only one that could break the spell and wake the princess with true love's kiss. So she found him and locked him in her dungeon. The three fairies soon realized that Maleficent had trapped the prince. They flew to the evil fairy's dungeon and helped Prince Philip escape. "Arm thyself with this enchanted shield of virtue and the mighty sword of truth," Flora told him. When Prince Philip approached Aurora's castle, she saw that Maleficent had covered the walls with thick, horny branches. He used his magic sword to cut through them. Maleficent realized that the prince might defeat her and turned herself into a fire-breathing dragon. "Now you shall deal with me, O prince," she screeched. The prince charged towards the large dragon, his sword raised. Maleficent breathed a huge blast of flame towards him. Philip blocked it with his magical shield, but the branches around him caught fire. Then the dragon chased him to the edge of a cliff. He was trapped. The dragon was about to breathe more fire, when all of a sudden three fairies came to Prince Philip's rescue. "Now, sword of truth, fly swift and sure," the fairies said, as they sprinkled fairy dust onto the sword. Philip threw the sword at the dragon, and the beast plunged over the cliff. The prince had defeated the dragon, and Maleficent was no more. Prince Philip raced to the tower and found Aurora sleeping peacefully. He kissed her tenderly. The princess opened her eyes and smiled at her true love. Everyone in the castle woke up too, and the king and queen were overjoyed to see their daughter again. Aurora was happier than she'd ever been. She had been reunited with her family, and she and her true love would be together forever. Okay, sweetheart, there's your story. I love you. Bye-bye.